This is a 500-mile race, 334 laps, the richest race of the chase, over $7.2 million. There's the pit window. Andy, concern over tires. We had a couple of tire issues yesterday in final practice.
Yeah, we saw a couple of problems, but I don't anticipate a tire problem. I think we can go the full 50, 55 laps on fuel without any problems at all.
Up front, Jeff Gordon, four-time champion, riding the longest winless streak in his career, 38 races. Could that end today? NASCAR's #1, Jimmie Johnson. You know, Jimmy's a big college football fan. He's well aware that yesterday here in the state of Texas, #1 was upset. Could that be an omen for Jimmie Johnson? Folks, it's Halloween weekend. Could #1 possibly get a hex in Texas? We're going to find out here as they come down to the green flag. Inside, the guy you were talking about, the 17 car, Matt Kenseth, trying to get to victory lane here in 2008, hustling on the bottom of the racetrack.
Got a good starting spot, so he's going to try to get up there, see how close to the front he can get, maybe lead this thing early.
Yeah, the bottom part of the racetrack is probably going to be the preferred line for right now, but I think this racetrack's going to widen out after they get about 15 laps on their tires.
David Rudiman up on the high side. He was very good in that final practice session on Saturday.
How about Gordon there? He jumped out to a pretty nice lead. Junior's the one that's on the move, Doug. Look at him on the bottom.
Yeah, he went from the high side to the bottom, was able to make that pass on Martin Truex Jr. Kenseth trying to follow him through there. Comes David Rudiman in the 44. He was really good in yesterday's final practice. He was excited about his chances here today.
He started the race way up in that groove. You see him running right there. He didn't even look for the bottom of the racetrack.
Saw him in practice yesterday use that, and that's unusual for David. He usually likes to be right on the bottom, but I saw him running most of his practice up from that middle part of the racetrack to the top.
Very hungry to get that win in NASCAR Sprint Cup competition. Jeff Gordon hungry to pull away and get his first win ever at this racetrack. The questions on Jimmie Johnson. Would he play it conservative early? Would he be aggressive? I think we're seeing a little aggressiveness out of him.
Well, I mean, he is racing hard, and when you talk about being conservative or aggressive, I mean, the race car drivers have to run the car as fast as it'll go. The point where it comes in of actually taking chances and putting yourself in a spot you don't want to be in or shouldn't be in, that's when I question that. And we've seen Jimmie risk a lot to get some good finishes here lately.
25 car making his debut in NASCAR Sprint Cup. Brad Keselowski up in the wall and scraped the right side.
He's finding this Cup racing a little bit more difficult with this car. Doesn't look like it wants to turn. Just doesn't have the grip probably. He was up out of the groove in 3 and 4. We see Jimmie Johnson here still trying to make that pass on Jamie McMurray. And I think when we're going to see, if we talk about Jimmie being conservative at all, it's going to be mostly on restarts in the start of the race. He didn't really go hard here until things kind of got single file and he's able to go at these cars one at a time.
McMurray and Johnson are for 6th position. That is 6th, 7th, and 8th. We mentioned the 25 car a moment ago. Brad Keselowski now making his debut here. Let's show you what happened to him up on the high side.
He goes in, and you can see Elliott Sadler right there in front of him losing a little grip, and Brad just gets in a little bit too high.
Yeah, the racetrack's not ready for that kind of a high line. It might come in later. I'm not sure if it'll ever really get that high. It does at Atlanta, but here it seems to stay just a little bit off the wall.
Yeah, but he should be okay. These cars are pretty durable, so we've seen that.
He ran the nationwide race here yesterday, and in that race, in that car, DJ, it's all about maintaining momentum in the corner. Yeah,
and he was trying to do that, but you can see that he's ready for the nighttime to come. He's got a clear shield, which you'll need later on, and sunglasses on under there. Jamie?
Well, guys, I talked to Brad Keselowski. You know, he's finally so excited he made the field for his first Cup race. He said that was the goal. Everything else on that is a bonus, but he did say that running here in practice gave him so much confidence for that nationwide race that he learned that he could run the high line. But I think he just got up there a little too soon as he scraped the car, but he said no harm, no foul.
Yeah, he'll be okay. His car's handling okay and still going forward. See a battle here with Jamie McMurray and Martin Truex. Jamie's going to that high side early too. He likes to run up there. He used that in the nationwide race yesterday, and this racetrack has a lot of rubber from that race yesterday because these guys ran every group possible. As we see David Rudman taking a spot away from Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, McMurray has taken the 5th spot away. Rudeman has taken the 7th spot away. Both of them are doing it up in that middle to high groove here early on.
Wow, that 44 car ran right up on Martin Truex. Kind of surprised him off turn 2. With that big run off the top side.
You can really take a lot of momentum. We see Junior moved up on the racetrack here. Here's our leader, Jeff Gordon.
We mentioned that yesterday in practice sessions, Tony Stewart had a right rear tire come apart, which damaged his car, and he had to go to a backup car. This one isn't too shabby, Dave.
He's already made up a lot of positions, Doc, and is heading toward the front of this field. Crew Chief Greg Zipadelli told me this morning they're not worried about starting in the back. They're kind of used to qualifying back there at these mile-and-a-half tracks and racing in traffic. In the spring here, they started 24th, and their average start at mile-and-a-half tracks this year, 30th. So Tony is used to battling back and making his way forward early on in the show.
I was told that Tony was really happy with this backup car. He liked his primary car, but he was really happy with this car.
Tony Stewart's on the move, but they're all chasing this guy right now. Jeff Gordon, the 24 car, for the first time in his career on the pole, and he's led all 10 laps thus far. Back up to this message and a word from our ABC station.
Running that high line and getting there. Where the 07 is right on the bottom. See him make the pass for the lead here just out of turn 4.
And he's got his car working great on the bottom of the racetrack, but Junior's car is working real good up a few lanes.
That's very impressive on the bottom. And I think before the night's over with, as this racetrack really cools down later on, that bottom's going to be where you're going to have to win this race. I don't know that you can up on top. I could be proved wrong, and it'll be interesting to watch as we go through the evening.
It does seem like that high line works a lot better when the racetrack's hot and slick, but when it gets a lot of grip, when it's cooling down at night, it seems like it does want to migrate down right back to the bottom of the racetrack, the shortest way around.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. set on the pole here back in April, led 32 laps. Faded late, as you guys mentioned, when the track got a lot of grip there and ended up finishing in 12th position. Here comes the 99 car of Carl Edwards, now being shown in 6th spot. Dave.
And you know, Carl has an air of confidence this weekend, as he should, being a former winner here. But when he had the first time to address the media this weekend, he said, we couldn't go to a track that I'd feel better at. I believe we can come here and dominate this race. Well, he's got to get to the lead to do that. But boys, from where he started, I think he's showing that he might be able to do that.
Another car, Dave, it's making his way up in a hurry is the 42 car of Juan Pablo Montoya. Now, Montoya has moved from 22nd starting spot all the way to 11th, and he's digging on that high side.
He's flying. He was what I said about maybe not running all the way up against the wall. Forget that. He's running right next to it up here in 3 and 4. Jamie?
Well, guys, if you look at the stats of Juan Pablo Montoya, he's had 8 DNFs in the last 20 races. But when you talk to him, he's ecstatic. Yeah, it's not been great that he's crashed the cars, but he said this team is really getting better. This is a brand new car here, a new generation. He said that's what they had been lacking, is the right cars that are light enough. His car is newer, it's lighter, and he's not even running that bag of water because it weighs an extra 12 pounds. They feel like they're really making gains with their cars, and their driver's pretty happy.
Jamie, they had a great run going in Atlanta last week and got hit on pit road. Now here's a battle with Roush Fenway teammates as Carl Edwards moves in and takes that spot, that 5th position, away from Jamie McMurray.
That's teammates working together right there. You saw Jamie McMurray back out of the gas on the straightaway and give Carl that spot. Now they can get back to business.
22 laps in the Dickies 500 at Texas Motor Speedway. We have had 2 different leaders. Jeff Gordon led the first 15 laps, and now Clint Boyer, our leader, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is moving in.